I just went for it.
Yeah.
You know, I figured they'd tell me if I wasn't. They usually do in this business.
Oh, they'll tell you if you suck?
Oh, yeah, or they won't call you back.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
That's even worse.
For sure.
You know what I mean? You talk about ghosting. Acting invented ghosting.
Not Instagram DMs?
No. You think, and I mean, I started in 96. Actually, 95 we started Comedy Troops. I started, auditioning regularly in 96.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's plenty of times. Actually, 99% of the time, you audition and then you don't hear anything.
Yeah.
Like, not even, no thank you, we are not going to have you.
Right.
You failed your drug test. Nothing. You know what I mean?
Right,
None of that. It's just, thank you. And then if they call you, you got it.
You got to be pretty mentally tough to be in voice acting and acting, period.
And emotionally. Yeah. Definitely. I'll be honest, I am not always that tough.
Right.
I'm human.
Right.
Sometimes after those rejections or lack of correspondence continue for lengths of time, you start thinking, what am I doing wrong? What should I do differently? And, in this business, it's just keep going.
Right.
Because there's so many different variables that come into play that some are just mindless and ridiculous and seem like they shouldn't even be mentioned, but, they are. Like, you remind me of a guy who beat me up in school. So I'm not going to cast you. You know what I mean?
Dang.
You don't remind me of a guy.
Right, okay, thank you.
Yeah. No, but there are people, she reminds me of a girlfriend that I didn't like. If I'm the casting director, that happens. Yeah, even more petty.
No.
Yeah, so you just got to do your thing, be confident in what you do.
Right.
And support yourself as best you can in all ways. And when you leave your destiny in the control of other people.
Right. It is.
Do I have to say anymore?
No.
Yeah. So do your best to control what you can.
Yeah.
Because there's plenty that you can't, and you won't be able to, and it won't ever change.
Right. Yeah. I feel like, especially people my age and people who are even your age, not calling you old or anything like that. They always struggle mentally, emotionally with just toughing it out. I feel like society and the world as a whole hasn't we've lost how to tough it out. People have been through the Great Depression and everything like that. People have been through world wars, plagues, and they toughed it out. But if somebody calls us ugly on Instagram, or if you don't get an acting part, we're done. Like, why do you think that is?
Ooh, all right. So, man, I really think that it's technology, for better or worse. That we have access, a lot of immediate access to not only information, but things. There's a lot of people can get a lot of things that 10 years ago, those people couldn't get. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so now you can. Now you can also get that information.
Right.
And because it's so accessible, when you're growing up, if you just get it, well, it shows up in the fridge, right?
Right.
That's where I get milk. Mom, I got a hole in my sock. I need some new socks. Okay. What? Like, I grew up like, why are there holes in your socks?
Exactly. What are you doing?
I guess you're going to wear those until Christmas.
For sure.
You just had a birthday, It's
exactly,
like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that that's better or worse. That's just how it was. There are some great things now that you can, you don't have to wear those socks with holes in them anymore. But if the people who provide those services, be they parents or you know, whomever else,
Mhm.
if there's no, you know, thought and idea and understanding of how that comes to be, then it's easily taken for granted.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you see it with people who are privileged. They don't know what it means to not have a house.
Mhm.
Not only a house, they don't know what it means to not have a viewing room.
Right.
You know what I mean? An entertainment center. You know what I mean? They don't know none of
A
that.
phone in their hand.
Right?
Yeah. Anything in
Right?
the palm of their hand.
Electricity wasn't paid this month. Or, you know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So, if and when they get out into the real world on their own or have to do things on their own, they are stuck.
Right.
I think it's just accessibility and a lack of education about, you know, where that information comes from
Yeah.
and how to use it best. I mean, you always it's a cliche, but can you imagine if the people back then, the Great Depression, like you mentioned, had what we have now?
Right. It would probably be
What
the same
would have
way.
happened?
Yeah, it would probably be the same way.
What would have happened?
Yeah. I feel like it. Yeah, I feel like it.
Who's to
exposed
say it's not
humanity.
happening right now? Again, it's just on a, you know, back then, it was harder to trade things. It was harder. You couldn't just go down to any store within a mile of you. I mean, there's hardly a place in this country anymore that doesn't have a store that provides food and liquid within a 5 mile. I'll give you 10 miles.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up in the country in Louisiana, and we had to drive 5 miles, but that was like, you know, if we wanted to go to the mall,
Yeah.
you had to go to town. You know what I mean?
Right, it was
You're
a
like,
trip,
there was.
yeah.
Listen, all right, no, next month we'll go to the mall, or you know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Wow.
you know, it's that you understand.
Mm-hmm.
You have a perspective, and I'm sure, and I know that the people that were older in our situation, my parents and their parents, when I was growing up, they just got it so good.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know what it's like to not have. And to be honest, I never wanted. I was lucky that I never needed anything.
Right.
Oh, I wanted a lot of stuff.
Right. For sure.
Let me correct myself. I wanted a lot,
Yeah.
but I never needed food or shelter or love. So, shout out to the parents and the family.